There always seems like there's nothing to talk about, but like when you think about it, there's plenty to talk about. So I was just on Facebook and I was reading a comment that Brandon left. And should I pull up that comment? Let's see if I can get it real quick. We were talking about oh, I can't pull up the comment, but we were talking about how weed makes you kind of spiritualistic, and he was like, nah, it doesn't make you spiritualistic. People just say that because they like the feeling of feeling good. That's the only thing that they get out of it, and anything else is like basically fake. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just the only one, because I was like, I felt like when I was smoking weed, I wanted to like meet aliens and shit like that. And he was like, nah, that's just an illusion. You can't believe in illusions. And then I wrote him a comment back. I was like, I'm trying to change that stigma of, these people thinking that these things are illusions and stuff like that. So it's kind of like those people that believe in aliens and people that believe in people that have superpowers and whatnot. So I'm starting to lean towards those people that have. Starting to say, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm pretty sure these people have superpowers because I'm dealing with it firsthand. So it might be a delusional state for me, but for me, it's very real because, you know, I'm not only experiencing it, I'm also seeing it firsthand. So what I was saying is, I was like, I'm trying to change the stigma. We call things illusions because we try to discredit them. Like, for example, the voices a schizophrenic hears or are called hallucinations because the majority doesn't hear them. Now, because they don't hear them, it's kind of like saying those individuals are like part of a religious cult. So what I was saying is, you know, you see how people believe in God, right? And they're like, God is real and whatnot. And there's like cults that happen when people typically start worshiping a certain person because they they believe they are some type of deliverer of God, uh, a, a prophet. So they think that they're a prophet or something like that, and they get them to believe them, and they're like, "Yeah, we're prophets and whatnot." So what I'm saying is, it's kind of like you're saying that those people are part of like a religious cult. Like they don't. You're saying that they don't. What they believe in is not real, right? So it's like saying we don't hear voices, we do not see things that you see, therefore it's false. And then it's like saying you are not special and you are broken and need to be fixed. So I was just like, all right, if these people are all broken and need to be fixed, how come they're experiencing the same thing over and over again? You know what I mean? It's like a select group of people that hear things and see things that aren't there. And there's just one big thing that I'm basing this off of. It's the fact that these people can also feel famous. So, my question is, how many things are you going to call fake until you admit that it is a real thing? Basically saying, like, if you're going to say that the voices are fake, all right, fine, the voices are fake. The things that you're seeing are fake. Okay, the things that I'm seeing are fake. And then you're like, do you feel famous? And it's like, yeah, I feel famous. And it's like, what you're feeling is fake. It's not real. It's a grandiose delusion. And the person is just supposed to sit there and accept everything that you say. And it gets really hard to accept everything that you say because you're saying that one, the voices aren't real, but I hear them. Two, the things that I see are fake, but I see them. Three, you don't feel famous. It's just a delusion, but I feel it and I work towards it. So how is it all real? Is it fake if I can make it real? So the voices thing, uh, I started breaking that down. I was like, look, listen, if a person hears voices, right? Where do you think we got telephones from? Where do you think that idea came from? You know what I mean? And hallucination, seeing things that aren't real. Where do you think we got that idea from? You guys can point out the two inventions that stem off of that one particular, those specific like delusions that happen to a person. So hearing things that aren't there is like telephones or like walkie-talkies. And then seeing things that aren't there is like watching television. There's a bunch of different things, but the main ones are if you are seeing things and if you're hearing things, and the feeling of feeling famous, because those three are the ones that I know personally. So I'm like, all right, I can speak about these things because I know them to a certain degree. Like it's definitely something that I can talk about because you have an experience that I have. I know what I've seen. So the only way that I got to that point of hallucination, and basically when you hear things, that's also hallucination. So you gotta bring those together. Like it's not hallucination delusion. It's like it's audio audio hallucination and just regular hallucination. I forgot what it's called. But so I'm able to speak about those things very not well, but I can at least speak on them, meaning that I've experienced them. I know what I'm talking about when I say that, oh, these things are part of our society now, and where do you think we got them? What if I told you the world is filled with distractions? Cars are a distraction, money is a distraction, houses, relationships, kids, spouses, school, tests. If I can distract you enough on the true meaning of life, I can get you to do anything. It is all about obedience. If I can make you feel smart, I can make you do anything. So I'm also talking about distractions and what it does to you, and how does schizophrenia fit into that little bubble of, well, if all these things are distractions, what are we supposed to be doing then? And the answer is pretty simple. Like, should we be working as hard as we're working? Should we have as many kids as we're having? These answers are right in front of our faces. Like, should we be having as many kids as we have? The answer is no. We're overpopulated. And the population that we have currently, we're not even taking care of them well. You know what I mean? Like, we're just throwing rocks at a solution that we think is real because the world has given us this idea that it's normal to feel like this. It's normal to fall in love with a spouse. It's normal to have kids with them. It's in order to keep the population going. It's in order to keep our species going. It's the right thing to do. So you're just sitting there thinking like, yeah, it's the right thing to do, so I might as well do it. So you do it, and my friend put it this way: people need direction in life. So when you put school in front of a person and you say that you have to complete school before you can do anything else, it gives them direction. Now they know, now they seem like they know what they're doing. But what I'm saying is, all right, you give that person school and you tell them that if they can't do this, they can't do anything else. That makes them think that school is the only viable option for them in life. So when school is over, what happens after school? Their life goes into turmoil because you've given them this false idea that, hey, if you go to school, everything in your life will, line up and it will do everything for you. So what happens to those kids that those things don't line up for them? And I'll tell you who those kids are. It's kids with the mental illnesses. It's the kids that get distracted in school. It's the kids that don't see the meaning of school. They don't get it. And there's just a whole bunch of people that have, there's the majority that has gone to school and has felt like it gives them a leg up in life. So they go on and say like, well, I became a doctor, I became a teacher, I became a nurse. And with those professions, I was able to fulfill my life goals. And then you're asking them like, what were your goals? And it's like, oh, my goal was to become a doctor. That was your only goal? You know what I mean? Like, are you sure that was your only goal? Are you sure you weren't reaching for something else? And they're like, no, I just wanted to become a doctor, and I became a doctor. And after I became a doctor, I got a house and I got a car, and then I got a family. So we are basically built to achieve things. We're built to achieve things. There are little points in life where we've achieved something and we feel much better about ourselves. So we keep doing these small little tasks to achieve things. And the bigger the task is, the bigger the achievement is, the happier that we get. Or so it's supposed to be believed. So you're sitting there achieving these little things or these big things, and you're telling one person that, okay, those big things grant you big achievements. So if you become a doctor, do you know what that means? You get a 6-figure salary. And after you get a 6-figure salary, you know what that means? You don't have to go to school anymore. You're a doctor. You're done. You don't have to go to school. And this person is just excited. They're like, yes, I don't have to go to school. That's what I'm working towards. So a person that goes to school is working towards the time that they don't have to be in school. So it's like, it's dumb, because you're like, I'm going to school to stop going to school. Does that make any sense? It's like I'm smoking weed to stop smoking weed. But what do you mean? You're going to want to keep smoking weed, right? Isn't that what's going to happen? And so you're saying you're going to school to stop going to school. No, you're going to school to keep going to school because you feel like that gives you an achievement. So every time a person that finishes school and it starts working, they turn around and they're like, you know what? We need tests. We need little achievements along the way for these people to feel like they're doing something positive in life. So in these jobs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start creating little schools within this job so that a person can either move up or stay where they are. They get to choose. Either they get paid more or they get paid the same, because they're not doing these little tests that I'm putting out for them to make them feel better and make them get to a point where I think not the world, but I think that they should be. So you give this person a job, and then within this job, you give them little tests, and then they feel fulfilled with those tests, because with each test, it could be a test of how long can you stay in this job for? That's a test. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, but that is a test, because a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people move around in jobs, especially in corporate. When you work in corporate, you move around a lot. You get fired, you get hired, you get fired, you get hired. But your chances of getting hired are much higher because you have a degree behind your back. So it's all about fundamentals at that point. So it's just like, okay, I know that I can hire this person because they have a BSN in financing, and this person doesn't have a BSN in finance, so I know not to choose them. So they're just making the pool smaller and smaller. They're trying to tell you that you are more elite, when in reality you aren't. You just know, you're just able to retain knowledge a little bit better than that last person. That's all that it is. So what happens to those people that can't retain knowledge the same way? What do? and you start seeing them, you should start looking for those people. You know, you should start looking for those people because those people are the most free because they are not held down by this corporate greed. You know what I mean? I think I just did a really good podcast right there, bro. So, yeah, bro. I hope people listen to this. I'm going to get SoundCloud as soon as possible. Right now, I just bought a, another camera. Yo, well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, my sisters keep saying, like, the things that are buying are not unnecessary and they don't see the point of them. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, you're not living my life. You don't know what the point is. You think you're looking from the outside in and you think that it's unnecessary, but I'm looking from the inside out and I'm saying that it's very necessary. Like, these things are absolutely needed. Like the bed frames, they're sitting there saying like your bed frame is unnecessary, you don't need that, but they're not saying anything about the camera because they don't want to say too much. But other than that, yeah, bro, that was a good talk. I'm gonna leave it there because I have to go and help my mom out with stuff in Elizabeth. So we're gonna go and have some fun over there. Not have fun. I'm gonna be forced to work. I'd rather be doing this. I'd rather be talking to myself because I've been getting the urge to talk to myself. So these are like my schizophrenic rants. But I don't like to call it that. I wanted to call it something else. But other than it's really just that. It's like I get these urges to talk to myself, and I'm just like, everybody needs to talk to you. Everybody needs to talk to you. It's like, all right, hold on. Let me put some time away so we can talk. Let me take my shower real quick. Let me go eat real quick so my stomach doesn't growl while I'm talking on this mic. Before, I would just come to my room and just start ranting. And I tried to capture myself. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ranting. I was having manic phases, by the way. And this is what happened. This is what I did on my manic phases. I would write and I would talk a lot by myself. I wouldn't do it with anybody else. So now that I'm sharing these things, I'm starting to get some recognition for it, and I'm really happy. So I want to keep recording. I want to keep releasing stuff so that people can know what it feels like to be schizophrenic and not have a job, not have any real big responsibilities to take care of. What do you do when you are out of the rat race? Because it's a rat race, is it not? Can we admit that it's a rat race? You go to school, you go to work. After you're done with work, you work for as long as you can, and then you don't retire. You keep working because you feel like you've collected so much debt and responsibilities that you can't put it down. And then you just have to keep working because you need more money. So how does it feel to be out of that rat race and to be given money every month and to be given a house to live in? People around you respect that you shouldn't be working. So how do you deal with it? What do you do? And it's like, yeah, bro, this is what I started doing. And I want to share it with everyone, bro.